We're back with the 1998 Kawasaki KX125. If you guys remember the last video on this bike, we picked it up for $1,060. Very weird amount, I know. So I actually passed on this bike, was driving home on the highway. The guy called me back and he was like, you know, I'll lower the price if you come get it. And the only reason I bought this thing is because I drove 2.5 hours each way to go look at it. So 5 hours out of my day to go look at this bike. And I was like, I'm not leaving with nothing. So I went and picked it up for $1,060. We got back home and pretty much everything is wrong with this bike. Chains, sprockets are junk. The engine was making a rattle noise. And I'm pretty sure it was the woodruff key sheared off here on this gear. So this gear was really loose on here, the main crank gear there. So the engine sounded horrible. We tore it down and found that the head was leaking, but the rod, luckily, and the piston was fine. The seller stated there was a brand new Wiseco piston in there, so brand new rebuild on the top end. And it looks pretty new. I don't know if it's brand new, but it looks like a pretty nice Wiseco piston there. It is bored over to about the last bore on this machine, 2 millimeters over bore, so it is a big bore. But today we're gonna be rebuilding the whole thing, getting this thing back together, up running, and hopefully driving it for the first time since buying it. Yeah, it's pretty rough. We'll go through everything today, and fingers crossed we can actually get this thing up, running and driving. All right, we're gonna start with the right-hand side here. I'll show you guys the old one and the new one. Here is the old woodruff key. You can see pretty damaged. Sheared off the top of it quite a bit. And that was sitting in there like this. So you can see it doesn't make much contact with the gear. So we got a new one. This is what it's supposed to look like. Let's get that out. Woodruff key was like 10 bucks. So that's what that's supposed to look like. And this is what it looked like. So you can see it was pretty worn down. That much of it was worn down. So you can see if we put these together, you can see one is a lot taller, the new one. So that was sheared off pretty good. So we can get the new woodruff key in place here. See, that's how it should sit in there. You can see how high that is up on there. And then this one goes over the top of it. And you can see that's nice and tight. Before that was wobbly because of that woodruff key. So that's really nice and tight in there. That feels really good. So that woodruff key worked out. Alright, that gear is nicely secured. No more wobbling. Let's get the clutch on next here. Got the washer that goes on. That was already on there. Got a bushing. Goes on. And then you've got your two bearings that go over the bushing. Like that. And then you've got your clutch basket. Goes on like this. Just like that. Goes on like that. Your hub here. Got your inner basket. And you've got your washer. And then your nut. Goes in. Your clutch plates go in. This dot lines up with the dot right there. This dot lines up with the dot right there. Just like that. Got your clutch springs. Go on next. Just get off all the old gasket material. Razor blade scraper. I spray this all down with brake cleaner. You don't have any oil on it. On the back side of it. Go right there. There we go. Alright, that's nice and tight. A washer. That goes on the back. Typically these are reverse thread. Let's see. Nope, this is regular. And this should move the piston, and it is, so we know we're connected. Gasket going on. Alright, new crush washer going on. The other one was just a standard washer, so it'll probably leak out of there. Let's see if it kicks over now with the kickstart mechanism. Sometimes that spring can get bound up in there and it won't kick over. Yep. Cool. All right, we got the cylinder. We checked the ring gap last video. Ring gap was perfect. We took the power valves out last video. Those all look good, checked out. So got those all cleaned up, ready to go for the reinstall. All we have to do is hone this thing out. And we'll just lube that up. And we'll quick hone that out. Cylinder didn't have any scratches or anything, so just took a light hone. See what those cross hatches look like. Yeah, that looks good. And we'll clean out the cylinder with soapy water and get all that honing material out of there. That's looking good. I'll show you guys. See the cross hatches in there, kind of hard to see with all that honing material still in there. Alright, so cylinder is all cleaned out, ready to go. So we can install the power valves next. So this is what the power valve system looks like. You can see this plate comes off. There's a pivot right here. Here's the bottom part of it. Here's the top. Here's the bottom. Here's the top. So these slide into those grooves like this. And there's gonna be a pin right there. So what this one does is just go right in here. Go just like that. And you're gonna have a bolt with washer to hold that plate down back there. Like that. Got another bolt with washer. It's going to hold the other plate down on this side. Alright, so we got that pin in there. So next is this piece right here. You can see there's a hole right here. That's going to be facing down as you put it in. No hole on the top. That's how you know it's in the right way. And then you're going to have your rod here go through here and attach to this piece so it can pivot those power valves. Push that in. And you'll see it go right through there. There's the rod, Push it all the way in. And it will line up with the hole on the left side there. See, now this can pivot. See, like that. There's going to be a hole, like we talked about before, and that's your place for the bolt right here, the lock bolt. So you want to lock that in place. Like that. On here, and then as you move that, it pivots the power valves, and this piece connects to the rod going down into the engine. Alright, now we can get the new gasket on here. This goes just like that. Got the Pro Circuit cover here. Something like that. Your 4 bolts. I already oiled up the piston and the crank. Looks good. Make sure that ring is in the groove here. Right there. Go. Alright, so we've got this piece right here. That's going to be a little loose once you tighten it down. It's supposed to be like that. So now that rotates up like that. This is in the furthest down position. And you can tell because you can look through the cylinder here. And that port right there and right there will be closed off by the power valve. See that? Now when you're opening it, see how it opens? Closed. Open. Close. We want it in the closed position right now when we hook up this rod, and that's going to be the furthest down. So this is open, this is closed. Now we're going to hook up the rod in the closed position right there. You shouldn't have to pull up on the rod at all. And then we're going to put this little pin right here. I'll lock that in place. So now when the engine gets to the correct RPM, this rod will shoot up and open up those power valves. Alright, so there's a couple dings right here from the previous owner trying to pry that off, the head off with the screwdriver, but it doesn't cross the gasket line there, so we should be fine, hopefully. The rest of the surface looks really flat. So hopefully we can get away with that, but gasket going on here. And then we've got the head going on. Torque spec for the head is 18 foot-pounds, for the cylinder 20 foot-pounds. I'm going to crisscross pattern here. That one's a 12 millimeter. Right, coolant lines are back on, engine's all back in. Let's change out the chain and sprocket, and we've got the lever right here that was broken when we bought this thing. Alright, here's the new lever. See if it fits. It should. Alright, new lever, working good. It's raining pretty good. Taking a little break here with Vin. What do you think, buddy? Think he'll run? Think he'll run? Alright, we can change out these sprockets and this chain. Got brand new ones here. And brand new chain. Alright, clip is off. We can get the chain off next. See where the master is on it. The master was on the wrong way as well. You can see that tooth is off, that tooth is off, and these are like a wave, so good thing we're replacing those. Old sprocket. And one here. All right, we're gonna take 2 links out of the chain here. So right here. Kind of a hard pin to push, but I think we got her. There we go. There's that link. Took out with the pin. Alright, now I can get the master. There we go. Alright, new chain and sprockets are installed. We got the pipe on. Alright, let's get this thing filled up with oil. So this thing takes 0.7 liters, says right there in the case. Using some 10W40 wet clutch oil. Time. Alright, so we went through the whole carburetor last video, so we're not going to do that this video. But we did mix up some 41 premix. We're hoping that weird sound is gone, and we're hoping it idles and runs good. Let's see what happens. It's running pretty good. See if the power valve's working. All right, this thing should be good to go. All right, made it up to the land. Taking this thing for the first test drive since owning it. So we picked this thing up for $1,060, got this thing running, then we heard the knocking sound, so that's why we tore it down. And now we don't hear a knocking sound, so it should be good. So far, it is not leaking out of the cylinder here. We'll see if that holds up over the course of the ride. We've got the new chain and sprockets on there, fresh carb clean, so we'll see how it goes today. I brought the jet kit along just in case it needs to be rejet. So let's get this thing off the truck and see how it runs. First test drive since owning this thing. Alright, who thinks this thing's gonna run good? I highly doubt it. We'll see. Starts up first kick, that's a good sign. Let's see if it moves here. I am super surprised that it actually runs that good. Wow. It has a ton of power. It's pretty fast. I think it has this much power because compression's like 200 on a 125, which is insane. But you can hold the clutch in, rev it up a little bit, pop the clutch, and it'll wheelie for second gear, which is pretty good for a 125. Usually 250s, it's no problem, but 125, that's not bad. It was breaking up a little bit, but once it got warmed up, it was flying. So I think jetting is pretty darn close. Oh, is that leaking? Ah, the head's leaking again. I thought that new head gasket would prevent it from leaking, but yeah, I see coolant leaking out of there. It's either from the weld or from the head gasket. Darn. And it's only leaking on the outside. It's not leaking on the inside of the cylinder, because you'd see white smoke out the exhaust and it would be running like crap because that's water. So unfortunately our new head gasket did not save that. I wonder if we need a new head. Yeah, it's leaking pretty good. So, finally started leaking on it, unfortunately. I think the only option you have is to get a new head or send out the cylinder in the head to get shaved down a little bit, but whoever stuck a screwdriver in there and tried to pry up the head from the cylinder, don't do that again. You can see it causes a lot of problems. Yeah, that sucks. It'd be a great running bike if it wasn't leaking coolant out of the head. Shoot, thought we fixed it. But yeah, it's running pretty good. And I completely forgot about the rear shock. I was gonna order that. I had one in my cart, but I never purchased it because it's like a pogo stick back there, riding it. Over bumps, it feels like it's gonna buck you off. So that needs to be rebuilt as well. Completely forgot about that. But other than those two things, it's actually running really good. So the $1,060 bike turned into an actual running driving bike, which is a miracle in itself. Alright, let's take a look at the spark plug here. Holy cow. There we go. BR9 ES plug. Let's see what that looks like. Ooh, that's nice and brown. Look at that. That's almost perfect. See that chocolatey brown color? It's just turning brown. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So I think our jetting is pretty much spot on here. So we can get the plug back in. It's not wet at all. It's not black. It's perfectly brown. Well, first ride on the 1998 Kawasaki KX125 went pretty well. So we need to get a new rear shock for it and probably a new head. And I think this thing will be good to go. Everything else is pretty decent. Obviously the plastics aren't original, at least the shrouds aren't. So maybe a pair of shrouds as well. And we should be good. It's not horrible. I was expecting a lot worse, but still a couple more things to do. So let's go work on some other projects. Have a couple more things to do in this video. All right, we got a brand new belt for the mower. Like an idiot, I cut in the rain because I was in a rush and broke the belt. So hopefully this is the right size belt. 133 inches, so we'll see what happens. So we have to go around the pulley in the back. See, way back there. There's a pulley. And then we have to route it over here. Here's the tensioner right here. So that you can actually take that spring off and that'll tension back. Alright, so that's kind of how that's routed there. And this is going to pull back. You can see the tension here. So we want this to loop around there. And what we're going to have to do is take this bolt off, take this pulley off, and then get that belt around there and then tighten that back down. That's the easiest way to do it. Alright, the blade dropped through. So now we can put the belt around the pulley. Belt is on, looking good. That's all good. Here we go, let's see if the belt works. Alright, we got all the trails cut. Looking good. All the way down there. Over here. And that actually does like a loop-de-loop over here. That's a new one. And goes all the way back. So all the trails cut. I've had this thing for about a year now. I paid $1,500 for it. And it's been working great. No complaints except for the belt breaking, which was my fault. So, new belt. Looks like it's holding up pretty good. So that's fixed. On to the next project. Alright, this skid steer has been sitting here for about, I think 6 months, 7 months. And it blew a hydraulic line. So yesterday, got the new line, put that in. Whole seat mechanism had to come off. And we got the line installed. It was just about a 2-foot line. And then we got all the wiring back in, all good to go. So we're gonna put some hydraulic oil in it. AW32. Thanks to everyone on Instagram that let me know what kind of hydraulic oil to use. If you guys want to go follow my Instagram, it is 2_vintage_. I post a lot of behind the scenes and questions and stuff on there, so if you guys want to help me out, go follow my Instagram. But anyway, let's get some hydraulic oil in there. You can see it's empty. Get a little gas in here. We'll see if it pumps gas. I have this pump here. I think we need a new pump. It's been slowly not working. See it squirting out, just had to be primed. Let's just see if she fires up. Alright, I think this thing needs a carb clean. It's not wanting to go. And then the battery died, my jumpers died, so we're recharging right now. But we'll get it going. Probably new plugs too. Thing's been sitting outside in the rain for a long, long time. So this will have to be continued on a different video. But we're almost there. Once we get to fire up, we'll see if there's a leak. Well, we got the Kawasaki fixed today. We got the Craftsman mower fixed today. And then the skid steer, I think we're gonna have to fix that tomorrow. Wait for these battery jumper packs to charge up. This one needs to charge. And my other one died right away too, so we'll see, and then we'll charge the battery on the skid steer and change out those plugs, clean out the carb, and hopefully that thing will fire up and we can get that out of here. It's been in my yard for the past 7 months, probably longer. So it'd be nice to get that out. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video on the KX. We'll have to get the shock, a couple other parts for it, and this thing will be good to go. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video, and until next time, we are out.